G'day, Amash, and this is U-Boat Thunder. Finally, we actually have usable U-boats. Every time that we've had a U-boat related event, or at least a submarine type event, I've criticised the living daylight out of it. Now, the spectator camera doesn't allow you to go underwater, so you can't necessarily get good screenshots or good visibility. And the moment you surface in this event, you absolutely get dominated. Now, there is a problem permeating the water when you go to use your periscope and to surface. It's a little bit buggy, it is not perfect, but you can use a depth periscope like this one. I'm at periscope depth right now. I'm just firing a bunch of torpedoes towards some Fletchers. And this is where it gets kind of interesting. U-boats are kind of good, but they're also really sort of underwhelming when it comes to the fact that you just get absolutely swarmed by hordes of destroyers. So you have to deal with that. Just look how many look how many there are just in front of me here. But yeah, look, sometimes in the matches you get really dark environments, so artificially I will have boosted this in post, just so you can see a bit better. You can surface and use your AA guns, though this is a late war German submarine, which means there is no 88mm gun. That'd be nice. Yeah, the objective is to take out about 20% of the convoy in order for you to win. And as you can see, I'm diving here as 3 destroyers are dropping basically all the explosives they have. To give you an idea of what it's like for the destroyers, the Fletchers, and the, I can't remember the other class, it is very easy for them to hunt you down, and they have arcade physics while you're stuck in realistic. Just take a look at the amount of explosions in those steel hulls as they are basically above. Anyway, they get a 3D outline of where your location is. They can also spot your location on radar. Semi-armor piercing shells actually do damage if you're on the US team to the submarine's conning tower and various other pieces. The only sort of really good thing you have is a bunch of depth charges. And if you are a German submarine, you can pull in a Heinkel, but the Americans also get the advent of depth charges and a PBY. But yeah, you've got the Hedgehog launchers, or a variation of the Hedgehog launchers, and you do get everything else that comes with a regular destroyer. Anyhow, you can sit about 3 meters below the water and get your guys basically drowning in surface waves as you anti-air the living daylights out of any vehicle or any sort of other potential enemy. Should be noted that the U-boats are limited to a very slow speed of about 18 kilometers underwater. On the surface, however, they will do 35 kilometers an hour, no problem. And this is what happens when you get spotted. Usually we'll die by aircraft, by mines or torpedoes. And I'm trying to shoot down the PBY, but you know, there are destroyers around, so I'm basically going to disappear. Now, the Germans' best weapon is actually not the torpedoes, more the mines you can use with left control. You can basically deploy a set of mines, and basically the enemies will run into them if you're close enough, and you place them in a strategic sort of position, because you can deploy them directly below a vehicle, and then they'll run into it as the mine is floating to the surface. Now, as I'm getting shot at, I must go underwater. So it is quite a struggle for you to win. I've played a few matches as the Germans and 1 match as the Americans, or 1 as the Americans, and lost every other time playing as the Germans. It's quite an annoying event to play, but I think it's worthwhile playing because you get some form of satisfaction of being a inverted commas U-boat commander, and there's some interesting mechanics at float, and yeah, I don't know, it's quite cool. For example, the spotting system is basically a red circle, and it pings out if you get detected by a destroyer, which again, it tells you where it is. But yeah, look, it's so much easier for the Americans to win because they basically spawn on top of you and just swarm you. And there's really not a great deal that I can do. Now, the battle rating of this thing is 3.7. It's a rank 3. So again, I don't know if we'll see the destroyers in the last major update of this game, but it's food for thought. I thought I'd play it, and it is okay. Honestly, the Silent Thunder of April Fool's event with the modern nuclear submarines was a lot better, but that was to be expected. These things are quite cumbersome, they're quite slow. Even though I'm doing 40Ks here, it still feels like I'm doing nothing. But again, it's an event that you should probably end up by trying. Anyway, if you want to support the channel, there is a link in the description for 3% off anything in War Thunder. Get my decal, and especially during these November sales, you can support the channel and help me pay some much needed bills. Anyway, hope you enjoyed a brief look at the submarines. My name is Ash, and I'll catch you on an aircraft soon.